Guys, welcome back to Life with MK, and y'all, here we are, another Monday, another MK Monday. How are y'all feeling today? How have y'all week been since the last time I talked to y'all? But y'all, without further ado, let's get into today's video. And this is probably not what you expected from the thumbnail, but yes, here's MK in all of her glory. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into the video. Today we will be talking about things I either struggled with when I first started my walk with Christ, and then things I still struggle with from time to time. So let's just get into it. I would say the biggest thing, y'all, I've struggled with this all my life. So when I decided to, give my life over to Christ, this is something that had to stop. Like, you cannot please God and men. So that will be being a people pleaser. Y'all, I was that so bad. Like, it was real bad, y'all. Like, I was really letting people run my life, and that is no way to live. And you can't allow people to govern your life and God. So you really have to pick one. So needless to say, I don't want to say I don't care what nobody got to say, but yeah, so that's number one. Number two, something I struggle with was, we're just going to say, being sober in general. I used to partake. I did. And that was a struggle. And it was a struggle because that's something that I kind of depended on. And again, those two things couldn't coexist at the same time. How are you smoking to have peace, but then you want God to give you peace? You know what I'm saying? How are you drinking to have joy, but you want God to give you joy? Those two couldn't coexist. So that was something I had to stop. And 9 times out of 10, we partake because we don't want to be in the moment and feel what we feel. But in my healing process, I've learned that in order to heal from it and actually deal with it, you have to feel it first and sit in it. So that was something in the beginning. Another thing that was hard was what I listened to and what I watched. Y'all, talk about a city girl. Talk about a city girl. Talk about what? That was me. Like, so what do you mean? I need to stop listening to this. Like, so yeah, cutting out secular music, that was hard for me. But what made it easier is I kind of like, just added gospel to my playlist, and it would like go back and forth until, I was completely done. It was like, maybe I don't need to hear this anymore. You know what? I'm fine without it, So what was that? 3. Another thing that was hard was being the only one who was doing it. So like I had to do it on my own. And I've always been independent, but at some point in like, I'm gonna say like 2023, things changed and I became very codependent on, we just gonna say, the people around me. So being that I was the only one taking this walk and this journey and being serious about it, that made it hard because everybody else living their best life and I'm just over here like, dang, like I can't even do that no more. I can't even do that no more. Because once you know better, you got to do better. And it's not even just about knowing better, because we already know better. But when God like convicts you of something, got to cut it out. So that was like probably the hardest thing. And I will also say the hardest thing, another thing was letting go and letting people go. That was hard because this walk made me have to let go of a lot of people for different reasons. But y'all, I've never been one to like, I'm always one that took pride in being loyal and this, that, and the other. And I'm not a quitter. Like, I'm not a giver-upper. So we can get into it 20 times and we can stop talking 20 times and we're going to get back cool. Yeah, letting go. And I feel like God tested me a lot to see. Because I could recognize when it was time to go, but then I wouldn't. I would just stay and just deal with whatever just to keep those people around. And I would say the last thing is being content with being on my own in this process. Yeah. Sometimes you be like, yeah, I could be on my own, but like, do you really feel like that when you're really at home by yourself? Are you okay with that? Like, are you really okay with that? No, grandma not mad. Grandma just hurt. I'm at home feeling just so lonely. So yeah, being content with the season I was in and being content with being alone in this walk. So yeah, those are 5 things I struggle with. Now let's get into 5 things I still struggle with, because I don't struggle with those things anymore. Let's get into 5 things I still struggle with. So the first will be, I'm gonna start off with light. Forgiving. And it's not the same. Like before, y'all, if it was up, it was up. Like there's no changing my mind about it. You did what you did and it is what it is. Like I don't mess with you. So yeah, and this is really not a struggle, but you know, sometimes I do find myself, you know, being upset for a little bit longer than I should. So I would say forgiveness. Another thing is trusting in God's timing. That's the thing. That's the thing. So trust. I struggled with it before, and I still struggle with it from time to time now. Now, not as much. Like now, I feel like I like solely depend on God and I trust in God. But I still have my moments, and then, you know, I'll be in my feelings. But trusting in God. And another thing would be, you know, standing firm on my beliefs and what I know to be true. That's another thing. Because I'm one of the people, like, I'm not about to argue with you. That's something I overcame, y'all. Because before I was sitting on go always. But now, I'm not about to argue with you. So I'm just going to let people say whatever. And I feel like that shouldn't always be the case. Because especially when you know better and you know they just so far off. Like, I'm going to let you say whatever. Because I'm not about to argue with you. Like, I'm not. And y'all, that is major growth. Because I went from sitting on go, sitting on ready. I know what I'm about to say. Matter of fact, it come to my head that quick. To, you know what? I don't have to respond to everything. And then from there it went to, I don't have to respond to anything. So that's major growth. So yeah, trusting in God's timing and, you know, basically speaking up on certain things. Another thing is, I feel like I could definitely be a better steward of my time. Very much so. That's something I still struggle with. Procrastination. Like I said, I was letting that go and I very much did not. We're still here to this day. Something else I still struggle with is discerning when the season is changing, if that makes sense. If you know, you know. But yeah, that's something I still struggle with, because I feel like before, okay, I was in a season of isolation. I feel like now God is calling me out of that, but then it's like, what does that shift look like for me in real life? I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. I'm still figuring it out every day. But knowing when the season is changing and discerning when maybe perhaps someone's season in my life is over, or even when the season for a version of me is over. That's what I'm struggling to discern, y'all. Other than that, discernment is 10 out of 10. Like, I'm good. But when it comes to that season changing, we ain't got a weather app for this. We ain't got an app for this. Like, God. So, yeah. Is there anything else I still struggle with, y'all? I would say, okay, truthfully, being obedient in the moment. Like, delayed obedience is still disobedience. So that's another thing I still struggle with. Like, I gotta tell me to do something, I'll just be like, right now, are you sure? Like, are you sure, baby? You know, you heard what he said, do it. So yeah, being obedient when God tells me to do something, and not when I, you know, didn't thought everything through and decided, okay, yeah, if God spoke a word, what is it I think about? What did I think about? So yeah, guys, those are things I have struggled with and things I still struggle with. And if you can relate, comment down below. And this journey, I would say, has a lot of, you know, ups and downs, but it's all worth it. And if I had made this process look perfect or anything, you know, like there's no struggle, I am so sorry, because that's far from the truth. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you next week.